A pleasant morning, viewers, and welcome to the now streaming show brought to you from the stables of the Advent Cable Network Nigeria, a place where we challenge stereotype and break every perspective there is. Tomorrow, the 12th of June 2025, we will be celebrating 26 years of uninterrupted democratic rule in Nigeria with the theme 26 years of democracy, renewing our commitment to national development. We must say congratulations to us all. However, democracy is meant to be a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. A system where the ultimate authority resides with the electorate, not with those elected. Could this be said to be our present day reality? I think that is the big question this morning. In our democracy and in Nigeria today, that authority appears to vanish the moment elections conclude. From the point on, the elected officials often act not in the interest of the people, but in loyalty to his political party and for personal ambition, I must say. We would be discussing all of this as well as how democracy has strived in the past 26 years, alongside some developing national and trending story for today. I am your anchor, Gordon Ujiri, but I am not doing this alone. To co-anchor the show with me this morning is
Adegbo Eboluwatifẹ, and it's actually a very wonderful time to actually talk about, the democratic role that we have in Nigeria. Some say that the world's democracy is better than the best military administration you could ever have. But then we'll look at the issues this morning and dissect them and to see if sincerely the world's democratic government is better than the best military administration.
All right, Bolo, I quite agree. But one thing I would want to warn before the show starts is that you don't come and act as a spokesperson of this present-day administration. I know you have an unwavering support for everyone that does the right thing. Now, joining us in the studio is whom I will call a familiar face to most of us and also to our viewers out there, is Mr. Onyi Omejiburu. He is a political and a public policy strategist, and also joining us virtually all the way from Delta State Comrade Abraham Soko. He is a political and a sports analyst. Also, we have Prince Godstime Okwadove, a politician and a human rights activist. Also joining us virtually from Enugu State is Honorable Elder Dane Felix Okorafo. He is also a politician. Let me start from the studio. Mr. Onyi, good morning and welcome to Nanstream.
A pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. And to all of our guests online, a very good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
All right.
Yeah, good morning.
Comrade Soko, good morning. Elder Daniel Okorafo, good morning to you, and also Prince Godstime, good morning. Viewers, remember you can be part of this show by calling in the number showing on your screen, and also by sending your comments via our various social media platforms. Our viewers, right about now, we shall be going on a short break, and when we return, we will be discussing the topic before us. Please stay tuned and watch the video which will be aired during the break, as this would be introducing you to our topic for discussion this morning.
Just before we go, everyone, and here is my final word tonight. And it's going to be majorly to Mr. President, President Bola Tinubu. 2 years are gone. Half of your constitutional mandate spent navigating the stormy waters of reform, resistance, and rising hardship. You came to office promising a renewed hope agenda, telling Nigerians that the pain would be temporary, like that of a childbirth, and that joy would follow. But 2 years in, the cries have grown perhaps louder, and many now wonder, when will the joy come? Inflation surged. Food inflation went to an all-time height. Transport costs were tripled, and the average Nigerian now spends more of their income just to eat. as if they are lucky. Petrol is hovering over 700 naira per litre, and electricity tariffs have risen even as supply is still very erratic. And yet, the Nigerian people, resilient, loyal, enduring, have held on. But holding on cannot be the national plan. You promised to lift millions out of poverty, create thousands of digital jobs in 24 months, and double power generation. These were not poetic aspirations. They were campaign commitments. Mr. President, time is not on your side. You have just 12 months before the political season begins to whisper again. If ever there was a time to show the fruits of sacrifice, it is now. You are the president of both your lovers and your loudest critics, the hopefuls who sang your name at the polls and the skeptics who prayed you will fail. But leadership demands maturity of mind and empathy of heart. You now preside over a fractured but hopeful nation. Good people, bad politics, and an ugly economy. Nigeria today is at a historic inflection point. Mismanage these opportunities, sir, and we risk descending into a cycle of unrest, disillusionment, and regret. But if you rise, Mr. President, to the moment, and you could become a defining leader, one whose name is etched in gold as a man who brought Nigeria back from the brink, you must ignore sycophants who clap in darkness while citizens cry in daylight. Mr. President, please urgently surround yourself with thinkers, doers, and patriots, not just loyalists. Every day must count. Every decision must deliver value. Because when a nation suffers this deeply, there is no luxury of time or ego. No more excuses. President Bola Tinubu, we in the media, we will do our own part. We will question, probe, inform, and hold you accountable, not out of hostility, but out of duty. The opposition must also rise, not just to criticize, but to push this country forward. Civil society organization must now organize, awaken consciences, and be the voice of the voiceless. And our people must now stop being docile. We need to raise a mass of active citizens who are willing to fight for their nation and also work hard for its good. Citizens, your voice counts. Don't lose it. And for those of us who believe and who are people of faith, we will pray as scripture commands us for the peace of the land and the success of its leaders. Because President Bola Tinubu, your success is Nigeria's success, and your failure will be our shared tragedy. Nigerians will rally behind you if they see sincerity, action, and result. But never forget, fury awaits any leader who mocks the pain of the poor. Sir, history is watching. Posterity is watching, and 200 million Nigerians are watching. Let this second half of your presidency be a turning point. Make us proud, President Bola Tinubu. Make Nigeria great. And that has to start now.
All right, viewers, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is a now streaming show brought to you from the Advent Cable Network Nigeria. On the video you just watched there, I could pick so many salient points, but one that resonates well with me is that your success would be our success and your failure our shared tragedy. This is a point we don't want to get to in our nation, but hope that we get it right. I am still your anchor for the show, Gordon Ujiri, and my co-anchor also, Bolowatife Adeboye, is still with me in the studio, and with us is Mr. Onye Omejiburu, who is a political and a public policy strategist. And also we have several guests who has joined us virtually. First, from Delta State, we have Comrade Abraham Soko, who is a political and a sports analyst. Also, we have Prince Godstime Ukwanove, who is a politician and a human rights activist. Also, we have all the way from Enugu State, Honorable Elder Daniel Felix Okorafo, who is a politician. All of these guests have joined us to discuss no other issue but all of those pressing matters that are bedeviling our nation, especially as we celebrate 26 years of an unbroken democratic rule. Gentlemen, once more I must say you're welcome to Now Streaming, and I would go straight to our guest in the studio, Mr. Onye. Welcome once more.
Pleasure.
All right. You have given a good background from the very start as to how you have described the Nigerian democracy and how it has evolved within the last 26 years. Now, I want to now bring it more direct to you. You watched the video during the break, more like a parting word from the anchor there. And then, but here and I want to ask you, has the quality of governance in Nigeria changed since we returned to democratic rule 26 years ago?
Well, not in its entirety. Some have changed for good, while some others have changed negatively. But when you juxtapose it, you find out that the negative is more than the positive, because the corruption level in the country has increased because everybody has a say. And you know, I don't believe in everybody should have a say. When everybody has a say, nobody's saying anything. So the country has lost direction. What we are now doing is just political patronage and favoritism and cliquism of power. We have not sat down to pave way for democracy. Is very easy. Running government is very easy. But the problem is in running true governance and administration, the man you hate may have to be in your cabinet because he knows what to do and how to do it better. But what we do in Nigeria is because I'm in APC, everybody has to be loyal to me, and all those things are total nonsense. You know, coming from the honorable who said that the president should not be appointing INEC chairman. No, those things are inconsequential. You know, I've once discussed that in this studio. I said the problem is not who appoints. The problem is who has been appointed. We can't bring a South African to come and an American to come and do our election for us. We'll still pick from amongst us. We'll still pick from these are professors. But the problem is the professor you have picked up, who is he in character? A man who doesn't want to go your way will simply resign and go his way. Imagine that every professor appointed in INEC and have been asked to go left, say no, we are going right. And if you insist, they keep resigning. At the time, you find out that nobody else wants to take the job because they are going to do the right thing. Atairu Jega was also appointed by Jonathan and that administration. He was answerable to Jonathan at the time, being the president. But Atairu Jega said, no, you didn't win. Do you get what I'm saying? That's not the issue. The issue is not who has been who appoints you. The issue is who has been appointed. What is this person's character in government? Finish. Do you understand? There are many director generals and ministers who are doing very well. Okay, now, in as much as Wike has his own political issues, but administration-wise, we have never had it this fantastic that under 2 years, Wike has done so many infrastructural development. That is what Abuja needs now. Abuja, you can't, that welfare you are discussing, and you can't go to people's houses and be sharing food. No, it's not the duty, actually, it is not the duty of government to be feeding people. No, it is not. The duty of government is to create an enabling environment. Investors come in, invest, these people will be employed, and from their employment, they can feed themselves. This idea of saying government should take care of people, government in any way in the world cannot take care of everybody. They take care of a fraction. Do you understand what I'm saying? But the fundamental is that if the environment is good, factories will be here, organizations will be here running, they will be making money, they will employ people to work for them and pay those people. Those people can go to the market and buy food and eat. Government mustn't go buy food giving everybody. So Nigeria, I believe, is at a point of infrastructural development. That is the basic thing we need. We need to have those roads now than ever. That's what we need. Without those roads, we have not yet commenced. We need to have accessibility. First of all, we need to have a rail line commuting people to reduce number of road accidents. Do you get what I'm saying? And when we now come out from that stage of infrastructural development, we can start discussing welfare. You can't discuss welfare when there is no road. Welfare to where? You can't discuss welfare. Then from there you can also tackle insecurity. These are the major issues that Nigeria needs special intervention in right now. Not welfare. Welfare will be taken care of. Welfare is not a direct problem. It's an indirect problem. If things are working well, welfare naturally will be taken. It has a way of going around. But when the major things are not working, you can't be discussing welfare.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Onyi. Prince Godstime, I understand you need to step out, so I would be asking you same question now. So far, 26 years. What do you think has changed since we returned to democracy?
The first question should be if I accept or if I agree that we are in a democracy.
Okay.
First and foremost,
what are we, if I may ask?
We do not have a democracy.
What then do we have?
What we are practicing in Nigeria at this moment is a very different style of government that I do not have an understanding about. What we have is not a democracy. Judging from our constitution, which is referred to as a decree, going further to the manner at which the people that are being elected are behaving, then going into the character of the electoral umpire that have been driving the affair of our election. So I do not agree that we have a democracy, but our leadership system and the development for the past 26 years, it has always been from frying pan to fire. We have always said that, Obasanjo was better than Yar'Adua. Yar'Adua was better than Jonathan. Jonathan was better than Buhari. Now we are not. Some of us are not saying that Buhari. We are not. We're not. So we can see the retrogression, the way at which we lament after each of these successive governments. So it can be stated that in our past 26 years, we have not done no. We have not progressed in industry, in infrastructure, like the other young man in the studio talking about infrastructure in Abuja. I would quickly want to ask if Abuja is the only place in Nigeria. In fact, Abuja is not even a state in Nigeria.
They have governors in other states now. They have money in their states. But the other states have governors now. Wike is working for Abuja. Delta governor should work for Delta with the money he has. Enugu governor should work for Enugu. Wike is just he's just a minister in Abuja, so he can't go beyond Abuja now.
Wike has a preference.
Be interrupted.
Notice there was a bill that was amended just to accommodate Wike's proposal. Is that kind of preference given to state governors in Nigeria? Have you seen wherever those kind of preference have been given to other people? It was the same you that or someone else that said there are some people that are more powerful than the institution, and that's where people like we can come into the equation.
Can I speak about this?
Please.
It is the TSA. It is the TSA for federal government that we can excuse themselves. Governors are executive. They have all their money to themselves. They have their state to allocate. Governors that are working are working.
We should allow. You can reply that.
All right.
There is no infrastructural development in Nigeria. Nigeria is the only place that you graduate from university and there's no job for you. There's no industry that is employing labor. People graduate on daily basis without having a job. Majority of us are self-employed. That some of us can even afford to live a comfortable life today is by our own resilience of hard work. So you cannot say a country whereby there is no job to provide at least 3 square meals for people. You are talking about infrastructure that is only concentrated in the federal capital territory, and we have infrastructure in Nigeria. What is the state of the East-West Road? What is the Ibadan-Lagos Expressway? What is the state of the Abuja to Delta Road? Those federal government roads are in the shambles. And yet you say we have an infrastructure. What infrastructure do we have? They are building what do you call in Abuja, doing all of that. Does the FCT minister and does the minister of work, Dave Umahi, have the same preference like the FCT minister? It's a big no. So let us understand that Nigeria we do not have a single infrastructure in Nigeria, and Nigeria has not progressed. From infrastructure to industry to welfare of the citizen to to the acclaimed constitutional democracy is a total F9 from 1990 today. The democracy is not a failure. Do you now interpret that we have a constitution that is being referred to as a decree, and no lawmaker from 26 years back has been able to identify that our constitution is being referred to as a decree? What kind of progress have we made? And we need this conversation at this moment, concluding that we still have a very long way to go as a country. We have a long way to go. We have a lot to do, from our citizens, which are the people that are being led, to those that claim to lead us to nowhere. We have a lot to do. For me, I feel that it is proper we think deeply in our conscience, that we go back to the drawing board and look for possible means to salvage the country, because there is no justification to the numerous insecurity in the country. And if you say we have an infrastructure, what is leading to the rise in insecurity? Is it not because we have too much of ungoverned area? We have too much bushes in Nigeria. And somebody said we have an infrastructure in the country. One of those things that give rise, the major thing that give rise and boost to terrorism and insecurity in Nigeria, is the fact that we have too many ungovernable areas. We have too many bushes in Nigeria.
All right.
We don't even have a proper civilization.
All right.
Before you drive how many kilometers, you see bushes, and yet you say we have infrastructure. Judging with the little thing that is happening in the federal capital territory, and now you are not telling me that we have state governors.
All right.
The powers of the president.
Prince Gostime.
It's written in the Nigeria Constitution in black and white.
If you can hear me,
what the president need to do is written in Nigeria Constitution, black and white. We have the president of Nigeria is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
All right, Prince Gostime, I think at this point I would have to interject. I understand that you need to go, but before you go, you have, it's more like a lamentation for me. And then I must then ask, what would be your advice to this present administration before you leave us on the show?
My advice to the present administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is that they should take the bull by the horn. They should become responsible and responsive as a government. They should not continually think that the citizens are inconsequential, arising from the kind of statement that Mr. President made yesterday, addressing some of us as bystanders. They should know that we are all partners in progress. Those of us that see some of their lapses and say it out, we are partner in progress. We are not the enemy. We are not enemy of this government. We want the government to succeed. That is what we are talking, like Shehu Afraki said in his address, that whatever they do reflects in our lifestyle. Whatever they do affects us as the people. So while we speak for ourselves, we are also speaking for their survival. They should take responsibility and they should be responsive to our plight. That is it.
All right,
Mr. Godwin, please. I don't mean to interject.
No,
but
Comrade Soko, you would definitely.
Comrade Soko, I thought you said, Comrade Soko, I thought you said nobody should speak till he's done.
All right, Soko, please come in.
Okay, allow Soko to speak.
All right,
Soko, speak, please.
Yeah. Please, I'm not even going to answer any question, please, because he has been making some claims. Yes. Which does not really sit well with me.
Okay. Now, Soko, you see it now.
He has continuously referred to our constitution as a decree. And right here, I have the constitution before me. And the first line of the preamble of our constitution reads that we, the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, having firmly and solemnly resolved to live in unity, harmony as one indivisible and indissoluble sovereign nation. So it goes on and on in the preamble. And there is no word that stands like a decree in our constitution. So I don't know where it's coming from with that sort of narrative, because I believe that we are on air and we should try to stay within facts. Are you getting me? So I would want to.
Okay. Thank you, Soko. let me just make a comment before he goes. Correct. Thank you, sir. Before you go, sir.
I think he's patient enough. So
please, sir. Before you go, sir, please.
Okay.
This political litany has not solved any problem. We need to tell ourselves the truth. What I was discussing was Abuja infrastructure by the FCT minister. The Minister for Works has his budget to do his own national infrastructure. I'm not talking about that today, maybe some other day. Governors have their monies to spend in their states and develop their states. What have they done? Was it not in this station that I said that instead of a governor to be buying new bulletproofs, let him buy chopper to fly around the city and find out when they have insecurity? Let the governors fund the police in their states. Let them deploy police. Look, let me tell you, between 2007 thereabout, Sullivan Chime of Enugu, he was governor then. That man will procure 1,000 carrier vehicles and distributed it to police. So at every major junction, there were 3-4 police officers in one vehicle. With that, crime couldn't thrive. These governors are not doing much for themselves, and everybody is talking about the president. Will the president come and do the road in your kitchen when you have a budget for it? A governor in South now is now bringing out 1.2 billion to celebrate creation of his state and celebrate Democracy Day. Why wouldn't he use that money to go and better his society? Do you know how much Delta State gets a year? Do you know that when they cut the money for fuel subsidy, that same money was redistributed to governments, state governments? What are they doing with it? You are talking about bushes, that's why we're having insecurity. There is no country on planet Earth that does not have bush. Even China, even America, they have express. You must go through bush. Human being cannot occupy every space and square meter in your nation. It's not possible. So why are we now making it look like the president is now the only bad person and every other person is exonerated? No, I like to be rational in reasoning. And when there is a conversation, we should mention. I want to thank my brother Comrade Soko for pointing out, because this decree thing, I got confused at a point. Where has this decree come from? Why haven't I seen this decree before? So we need to get this thing straight. It's not, Tinubu was shouting like this. I'm a comrade too. All of us know how to shout, but it's not like that. A pastor is governor in a state that is using money to sell 1.2 billion to celebrate. A reverend father is a governor in Benue, and they're killing his people. And Catholic churches are being shut down, and he's crying. How can a governor be crying and he's not talking? It's the same thing now. Will the president come and live in Benue for him?
All right. Thank you so much. Viewers, please, we want to encourage you to be part of this conversation by sending in your comments and also by calling the number that is right there displayed on your screen.
All right, thank you very much. I think just to set the record straight, because our own job here as anchor and co-anchors is, to educate the public and to bring to light what is what seems to be the dark spot in some of the policy and politics of the government and the administration. To put this, Mr. Goldstein said that Mr. Wike, the Honorable Minister for FCT, was giving some certain preference. I just want to state this very clearly, and it's actually there in the public space. What actually transpired or happened with the Honorable Minister for FCT was the removal of the Federal Capital Territory Administration from the Treasury single account that makes it possible for the Honorable Minister to have access to funds at his disposal.
Just like every governor.
Just like every state governors. Now, in addition to that, he now also has the liberty to appoint some certain appointees, just like permanent secretaries, unlike before when the FCTA
that one was
a full-blown
ministry. So what happened was that the man now made it domicile for state and made it, they had now a commission handling the civil service section of the FCT, independent from the federal ministry of capital territory.
So it's not like
they gave him extra money or anything.
There's no extra money. Just like you have Sanwo-Olu in Lagos, you have Umoheno in Akwa Ibom, you have Daudu Lawal in Zamfara, you have Professor Babagana Zulum in Borno State. They all have access to their own funds. So, and that will lead us to the next question. And I'll be talking to Comrade Soko at this point in time. Looking at Nigeria's current state, what will you score this administration, considering economy, education, health, security, basic amenities, foreign infrastructure, growth and development, monetary policy, fiscal policy, how would you rate them? Comrade Soko, over to you in 60 seconds.
I want to start by saying that I want to thank everybody that have participated so far. And on the scorecard of President Tinubu's government, sound very, very controversial, but I'm going to go on anyway. I'm going to give him a 70% out of 100. And I think that's a personal, that's A. You understand? And the reason why I'm doing that is because Tinubu is not, President Tinubu is not someone.
Comrade Soko, please, just a second. Please, we want to appeal that our guests online who are joining us virtually should please mute your mic so we'll be able to hear the person speaking clearly. Thank you.
Okay. So as I was saying, I said President Tinubu has been able to take very, very tough decisions since he took over power, starting with the subsidy removal and the unification of the foreign exchange. I don't want to go into that in detail right now, but I'll start with one of the things you listed, which is education. If you look at the country since 1999, because we're discussing democracy in the last 26 years. Since 1919, we have had a plethora of industrial actions by ASU. Under President Obasanjo, I think ASU went on strike 5 times. I believe, I don't know if Prince is still with us, he can attest to that. ASU went on strike 5 times. One of the strikes lasted for 5 months. Another one lasted for, I think, 6 months. Under Goodluck Jonathan, we had three major strikes in the country. One lasted for a whooping 170 days, which is 6 months. And this occurred on the 1st of July, December 2013. Under Buhari, we all remembered the 234 day strike, which is 8 months that these university students were made to sit at home. Now, 2 years into this administration, we have not even had a day of industrial action by this ASU. So we are very quick to look at, okay, his shortcomings, he has failed here, he has failed there, the president has failed here, the president has failed here, but we should also need to look at his progress, the progress we have made as a nation. That's what we should also look at as a nation. In another improvement in the education sector is this student loan scheme, which has been able to give scholarship to 600,000 students. This fund scholarship, that is another major achievement by the president. And a whooping 104 billion naira was earmarked for this scheme, or has been spent so far, with more to come. When it comes to the unification of the currency, which is one of the fiscal reforms that he made, what we initially had, because most of the problems that we have in now we're talking about all the ills of democracy, but we're forgetting that in this nation we fought a bloody civil war between 1967 and 1970. We're forgetting that fact under the military regime. We're forgetting how the military brought trumped up charges for people and they locked them, jailed them. We're forgetting those things. We're forgetting how people were killed. The likes of Kudirat, Abdullah, how they were assassinated. We're forgetting that.
All right.
Now we're criticizing our democracy because we feel that
Comrade Soko, I understand you.
Let me stay within what the question that you have asked, please.
All right. I still just within that same question. You've spoken so well about all the other aspects. It is left for our viewers to judge as compared to what they are experiencing. But I just want to ask you, for the purpose of clarity, you spoke so well of student loan when it comes to education and the rest. So how would you substantiate this as regards what Tinubu is doing in line with the current saga we have with JAM and WAEC not too long ago?
Okay, thank you very, very much. The JAM and WAEC issue, what we had was, I think, institutional problems by their staffs. That was what we had. We had a situation where WAEC officials, 2 o'clock paper they were due to logistic purposes. They came to exam hall, I think around 6 o'clock, and we saw some of the examinations spiraling into 11 p.m. at night. That is not something that you can attribute to a failure in the presidency. That are institutional problems. That are logistical problems within these institutions. On the issue of JAM, we had a situation where there were glitches, and a lot of Southeastern students had their results failed, scored. I think they had issues with their result in Lagos State and most of the Southeastern states. These are institutional problems, and most of the institutions in this country, they have their problems. The civil service, the EFCC, the ICPC, but this does not take away the progress of the president in some of the reforms that he has enacted. I was talking. Look at the local government autonomy that he pushed into law by the Supreme Court. What we had a situation where we saw our place was criticizing the other state government governors. We saw a situation initially where development did not get to the grassroots because some of the money the CBN were earmarking for the local government, they were being held by the governors and were being used to blackmail some of these local government chairmen. But what the president did, he came into power and decided that no, this does not make sense. You understand? We have to grant partial. He wanted full autonomy, but it has started with partial because it started with financial autonomy. You understand? So he granted partial autonomy to the local government, where a situation where their funds get to the local government chairman directly. So this is one of the progress we can attribute to the presidency and the president terms of reforms.
All right, thank you so much, Comrade Soko. Edadane, I must say thank you so much for your patience. You have really been patient with all of our discussants this morning on the show. But now I want to come to you, sir. And my question will now be, given all that has transpired within the 2 years of Tinubu's administration, how would you score this present administration as regards to economy and also security? What would be your scorecard for them?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, I will take that question again. I first say thank you for having been patient, waiting for your time to talk. Now, I want to now ask, 2 years gone down the line of the Tinubu's administration, my question now is, how would you score President Tinubu's administration 2 years down the line as regards to insecurity or as regards to security and also the economy of Nigeria?
Okay, thank you very much. Economically, I will score the present administration 15%. For the first time in Nigeria, dollar rose to 2,000 naira and some fractions. For the first time in Nigeria, inflation rose to 30-something%. For the first time in Nigeria, we bought fuel 1,500 naira. For the first time in Nigeria, a bag of rice is above 100,000 naira, from the usual 30,000 or something thousand in the time of Buhari. For the first time in Nigeria, the minimum wage cannot buy a bag of rice. And the list could go on. In terms of insecurity, in Nigeria, I will also give them 15%. This current administration seems that they do not know what they have come to do. Despite all the promises made during the election campaign period, somebody was talking about that the road is an infrastructure. The road is an infrastructure that is set to kill. The same road you are building for us, people cannot travel easily. I remember the chief of defense staff saying that he can now remember with nostalgia the time when they were young in the military, that they preferred to travel at night because they were not afraid of anything. But this time around, who dares travel at night? Because of insecurity. Hundreds of thousands of Nigerians are killed every year, or from 2023 to 2024. So, what is the government doing about securing the nation? In terms of insecurity, it is in Nigeria that you see the military, the government unleash the military on their citizens. Nigerian democracy is patterned after the United States. The federalism system of government we are practicing is patterned after the United States of America. How many times have you seen the U.S. Marine or the American military come out to the street to shoot Americans? But in Nigeria, it is the order of the day. So in terms of insecurity, this administration have not done well. They are not up to pass. You talk about state governors, that they should go and secure their states, that they should buy vehicles for their police. You buy vehicles for the police you do not have control over. The police you cannot command. The police the governor will make a call to the commissioner of police, and the commissioner of police will decide to answer or not. So entirely the responsibility of securing the nation is that of the federal government, and they have failed. In terms of education, somebody said there have not been a strike. There was strike last year. University of Nigeria was on strike last year. Maybe you do not know. Maybe the place you are, they have not been on strike. So, like the jump issue, it has never happened in Nigeria that over 300,000 students failed from a particular zone. And you say that they have not failed in education. This administration, to a large extent, has failed in many things. So the federal government, for this administration of 2 years, has failed. But when you look at the democracy from 1999 to date, which is 26 years, it has been a mixed feelings. There has been a mixture of the good,
the bad,
the better, and the ugly all of a sudden.
All right, Elder, thank you so much. You've given your own analysis, but now I just want to ask you, and that I will take as your last word. What would be your advice for this present administration? 10 seconds, please.
This present administration, the best thing they can do is to listen to the people that are leading. Listen to what the people want, not what you want as an individual. Because what the leaders, the few people that are leading us, what they want is to amass wealth. What they want is to consolidate their leadership. What they want is state capturing, which is not helping us. But the motive asking for security, secure the nation, give us enabling playing ground, so that we can go to businesses, we can go to farm, we can go to our work without looking back. Somebody says government shouldn't share welfare. Well, nobody is asking for government to come and feed his family for him. What we are saying is government provides security for us so that we go out and do our businesses. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Comrade Soko, now over to you in 10 seconds. What would be your advice for the Tinubu administration 2 years down the line?
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Godwin. All I would want to say is that we have significant challenges as a nation since independence, and I am personally aware of the corruption, the insecurity, the election flaws, ethnic divisions we have had as a nation. We also saw a situation where a corrupt CBN president, governor, amassed 753 duplexes. We also saw a situation where a former CBN president said the $20 billion dollar was missing from the excess crude accounts. So we have had our challenges as a democratic nation. But what I would want to say is that we are on the right trajectory. Somebody made mention of the fact that I think inflation and the food insecurity we are facing as a country, and that is because of the removal of subsidy. And the removal of subsidy has been able to gradually lead to more infrastructural development. We are seeing the infrastructural strides of the FCT minister, and we are seeing, even in Delta State, we are seeing the infrastructural strides of of our state governor. So I believe that we still have a long way to go as a nation in terms of our democratic tenets, but I totally am of the opinion that we are in the right trajectory as a country. Thank you very much, Mr.
All right, thank you so much, Comrade Soko. And now to Mr. Onye in the studio. I would want your scorecard, but because you are right here with us in the studio, I just have one last one for you. How would you explain separation of power thus far within these 26 years, and then your scorecard?
Well, because as I said, we are still growing in this. The separation of power hasn't been very wonderful. We know that there are a lot of, the executive, na dem hold yam, na dem hold knife. So it's not been totally determined. There's still an interwoven relationship. It's not being caught in details. But again, as I said, with time, maybe we'll still get there. The judiciary, of course, you can see one or two influences here and there, which means there's still control, but with time.
All right, and then your scorecard for the Tinubu administration, 2 years down the line.
Oh, well, in some places, the president has done well. In some other places, they've not done well. They've not really tackled insecurity as it were. And I'm beginning to see this insecurity thing as more of a political thing than reality. These people are not. There's an underground plot. You can't tell me otherwise. Do you get what I'm saying? Is it that the military don't know where these guys are? Like me, I know the bush they are in my village. If they want, I can take them there. I know.
Okay.
But I don't think they've done well. Then in the economy, I think that the president has taken some economic decisions. But in management, there's what we call the management by organizational design.
Yeah.
That is a management that allows you to go through things. You're not very strict. So I think the president took a strict route, that is management by objective, in economy. And working with some individuals that I think are abecedarians and neophytes to national economy. They don't know so much. See that Minister for Finance and that CBN governor. Two of them don't look like people that know anything. They are just there wearing suit and smiling. They are not.
All right.
So the president has taken some right decisions in economy. But you may know what to do, but you don't know how to do it. The know-how, the technical know-how through these issues is not very benevolent around these guys. And I think that's the issue.
All right.
Apart from that, so far, the other side, I think infrastructure, the president is really coming up. It's obvious. It's obvious. Apart from FCT, there are some massive roads going on. There's one road through Benue, Enugu, Ebonyi, Calabar. I think that road is coming up well.
Okay.
These are massive projects, and I think so far it's okay.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Onye. And to my wonderful co-anchor, Bolu.
I think, I want Nigerians to know that democracy is more than a system. It's a promise that every voice matters, every vote counts, and every person owes the power to shape the future. So keep showing up, keep speaking out in a world where it's easier to be silent. Choosing to engage is an act of strength. So don't be silent, speak up, voice out. Your voice also matters. Thank you.
All right, Bolu, I get that. Your voice also matters. That is coming from my co-anchor this morning. And I must not forget to appreciate our physical guest in person of Mr. Onye Omejiburu, who is a political and a public policy strategist, for joining us today for now streaming. And also our comrade Abraham Soko, a political and a sports analyst all the way from Delta State, for all of your insightful analysis this morning. And also Prince Godstime Ukwanove, who is also a politician and a human rights activist, same also from Delta State. Thank you so much for joining us. And also joining us virtually all the way from Enugu State, Honorable Elder Dane Felix Okorafo, who is also a politician. Gentlemen, I must say a very big thank you for making now streaming this morning a reality. And as we mark yet another Democracy Day, let us all ensure we collectively build a sustainable system that would serve every Nigeria. This would be the size of our package on the now streaming morning show. Like I said before, I appreciate our viewers and also our guests, and also my co-anchor for steering the ship with me this morning. Viewers, remember you can get more of our programs via our various social media platform, and also by staying tuned to the station. So we'll come your way again with other interesting topics, same time, same station tomorrow especially, which is June 12th. Do have yourselves a blessed day ahead. I am Godwin Ujiri, and bye for now.